Personal reflection number 3. Let's talk about bad environmentalism. When we look at documentaries such as the ones of David Attenborough and so forth, nature is always seen as like this grand, mystique place, right? Nature is sort of separate from where we are. And I think that this is a very urbanistic view. The reason why we think that nature is sacred or nature has this untouchable pure element to it is because for most people who watch these forms of medium, them being the target audience, I don't think they live in proximity of nature itself. Yes, we all exist within nature, that is the default, but most of us who consume these forms of media are living in urban sprawls. Urban sprawls, which are often concrete jungles, are an imitation of nature but can never really capture its essence. I feel like this entire topic of conversation would not even cross the mind of someone who lives in a village from, for example, where I am, Bangladesh. Even though Bangladesh has these hard urban capitals, we have I think the capital city where I'm from has like 20 million people. There's still a vast number of people who live in villages, and I think their relationship with nature is very different to how we'd like to think about it or how we'd like to view it. I think humans naturally find order and a balance when you have to deal with the elements, right? You know not to go out into the forest growth at night because that is when animals such as tigers, hyenas will go out for their hunt. A lot of our understanding of nature is sort of how to utilize its resources, how to ensure the balance of resources persist, and how to ultimately just survive, right? I think our relationship is primarily stems from our will and need to survive. And throughout that, over a long period, we find a balance where not to sort of abuse nature to the point where human beings can no longer survive. And that, I think, is where the urban ideologies exist, where things just seem so far out of control. Like there's such a big disconnect that we need to talk about good and bad environmentalism. So this is why you would see a lot of modern media, let's say for on YouTube, a channel such as the Outdoor Boys, who have almost 20 million subscribers, with each of their videos garnering 10-15 million views, and which earn over 6 figures per video in ad revenue, blow up and find an audience. They are simply just existing as human beings would in order to survive, let's just say a few hundred years ago. And yet this seems like such a foreign, mystical way of being for us human beings that it garners this much attention and it is so rewarded. And another element of our relationship with nature, and I would say technology, largely depends on how closely it resembles to us human beings. We saw in class that a lot of these documentaries try to humanize animals and elements of nature, and which is why I think a lot of forms of technologies like our mobile phones, we really do not care for as much. There's a whole genre of content that's dedicated to like testing the strength of products, phones. They're destroying it, they're throwing it out. There is this relationship we have where we like to destroy these man-made things because they're not that close in resemblance to human beings. Which is why some man-made things, I would say, resemble humans a lot, such as, I would say, automotive cars and vehicles. I mean, there are 3 movies depicting this entirely. So when I see videos like these, this trend of live wallpapers where you see things like cars just move around as if they're just human beings, you can see why there is so much adoration for them. I mean, I have a poster right here, and even I have like this little picture where, even though this is not living, I'd say this just carries a lot of emotion, right? It's a bit melancholic and somewhat human. It somewhat exudes something. It makes you feel something, and none of it naturally occurs. We have created it. There are elements where I'd say nature does not feel completely human as well. A lot of societies, they still practice slash and burn forms of agriculture, which would throw environmentalists into a fit. Is that good or is that bad environmentalism when you look at it? I don't know, but I guess burning grass does not spark as much emotion in us as like slaughtering animals or something like that. My take from this whole topic is, from what I've seen, is that we only really care when even something like nature or technology, it feels human. And when it feels human, then the senses of morality come up. Then we talk about whether environmentalism is good or bad.